Watch this video till the end to win a free football jersey of your choice. Football can be unforgiving for even the finest of players when they join a new club. Here are 10 such footballers who flopped in their first season. João Cancelo's debut season at Manchester City had its share of challenges. Joining City from Juventus meant getting used to Pep Guardiola's complicated tactics. Guardiola's style is like a puzzle, and full-backs play a vital piece. Adapting to this complex style took time. On top of that, he had to face stiff competition. Kyle Walker, a well-established player, was in direct competition for the right-back spot, which made it really tough to break into the team right away. Guardiola's system expects fullbacks to handle defensive duties as much as attacking. Learning to balance the two roles was a curveball, but Cancelo didn't back down. In the following seasons, he became a linchpin for Manchester City, excelling both defensively and offensively. Son Heung-min has a similar story. Coming from Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga to the English Premier League is a significant transition. The pace and physicality of the Premier League can be quite different from the style of play in Germany. In his first season at Tottenham, Son struggled to score. He managed just 8 goals in 40 games. There were even rumors that he might leave after just 1 year. Moving to a new country with a different culture and language can also be challenging for any player. It takes time to adjust to life off the pitch, and this can impact a player's on-field performance. Despite the initial struggles in his debut season, Son's talent and work ethic eventually blazed through, and he turned things around in his second season and became a key player for Spurs and one of the best players in the Premier League. We all know that Gareth Bale is a legend, but he had a bad first season at Spurs. He was just 17 years old when he joined Tottenham from Southampton. He had limited top-flight experience, and the transition to a bigger club was daunting. Now, Bale started as a left-back, but everyone soon realized his attacking mojo. So, they pushed him further up the field. However, the positional change came with a learning curve, and he had to adapt to different tactical responsibilities. And then came the injuries, the knocks, the setbacks. Bale had his fair share of injury struggles from the beginning. Let's not forget the giant spotlight. Spurs had invested big in him, and everyone expected fireworks. That kind of pressure can weigh a ton on a youngster. Gareth Bale didn't back down. He overcame it all, turned into a Premier League superstar, and even took the world by storm at Real Madrid. Gareth Bale's teammate Luka Modric also had a bad first season, but in Spain. Modric went from the English Premier League's rhythm to La Liga's dance. The style, pace, and tactics are different in Spain, and adapting was a puzzle he needed to solve. Then, there was the competition. Real Madrid's midfield was a talent factory, with stars like Xabi Alonso and Sami Khedira, so just finding a spot in the starting lineup was a treasure hunt. Plus, the tactical game at Real was a whole new playbook. Modric cracked the code. He went from struggling in Season 1 to becoming one of the midfield maestros for Real Madrid, orchestrating their success. Manchester United might have been a bit too quick to spend their cash on Andre Onana. When Onana, the Cameroon goalkeeper, joined United from Inter for a whopping £47 million, it felt like a big moment for the Ten Hag era. I mean, it was the first time in forever that United signed a player who was considered to be one of the best in his position, and they beat other big clubs to get him. After De Gea left, Onana was supposed to be the guy to save the day, right? Well, it turns out he's been having a bit of a tough time. He's let in 18 goals in just 10 matches, and United's lost 6 of them. Manchester United's not having the best time. They're down to 10th in the Premier League, and a 3-2 loss to Galatasaray in the Champions League was a real shocker. Teams are having a field day scoring against them, and poor Onana in goal isn't quite the superhero they need. Talking of Andre Onana, we gotta hop in our time machine and rewind to 2011 when a fresh-faced David De Gea rocked up at Manchester United. First off, moving from sunny Spain to the rainy, hard-hitting English Premier League is a tough thing. The Premier League is known for its elbows-out, no-nonsense style, quite unlike the silky tiki-taka of La Liga. Poor De Gea needed time to beef up and adapt to the rough and tumble. Plus, he was basically a footballing toddler in goalkeeping terms. You see, keepers are like fine wine. They get better with age. But young De Gea was under the spotlight at one of the world's biggest clubs, feeling like he had to make instant coffee out of beans that needed time to brew. Language was a problem too. Imagine directing a defense in a foreign tongue. But De Gea didn't just survive. He thrived. Over the years, he became a beast between the posts, making fans and legends proud. Even last season, he kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League. John Stones' debut season at Manchester City was a roller coaster ride. Imagine going from the cozy Everton nest to the roaring Manchester City jungle, all in the summer of 2016. But the poor lad had a lot on his plate. Pep Guardiola's football philosophy demanded center-backs who could tango with the ball and play it out from the back. Stones, though talented, was suddenly expected to be a ballerina on the pitch. And sometimes, oh boy, he stumbled. His big mistakes gave pundits something to discuss. And Stones must have felt like he was starring in his own blooper reel. Injuries also played their part, keeping him from finding that sweet spot in the team. And let's not forget the pressure of a colossal transfer fee, and the world was watching him. Stones didn't crumble, though, like many other players these days. He rose from the ashes of that challenging season to become a key player at City. You know, legends aren't made overnight, and Hendo's story is a prime example of that. Back in 2011, Jordan Henderson moved from Sunderland to Liverpool. The transition to a massive club like Liverpool was a culture shock. From lower expectations to the bright lights of Anfield, the pressure was on. Plus, playing in a new position, deeper in midfield, added another layer of complexity. Henderson was also pretty young and green, and in the Premier League, young players are usually expected to marinate a bit before they sizzle. Critics were skeptical, and he was even offered to Fulham after just a year at Liverpool. But Henderson rejected the move and stuck around. Fast forward, and he has become a club legend for Liverpool. He has won the Premier League, which even Stevie G failed to do. They were so close to winning the Premier League in 2013-14, and Henderson was right in the thick of it. He became a leader in the Klopp era and became the European champion as well. Harry Maguire's first season at Manchester United was no walk in the park. When he made the switch from Leicester City in 2019, he carried a heavy price tag of £80 million, making him the world's most expensive defender. The weight of that transfer fee brought towering expectations and immense pressure to perform right out of the gate. Joining a club as illustrious as Manchester United meant not just learning a new playing style, but also carrying the legacy and tradition. The defensive setup at the club was also evolving, which required Maguire to integrate with new defensive partners and adapt to a different tactical system. On top of it all, he was handed the captain's armband, which added an extra layer of responsibility and pressure. He is still scrutinized by everyone. However, despite all of that, Maguire has remained committed to the club, persevering and fighting for his place in the team. Granit Xhaka's first season at Arsenal was marked by some notable discipline issues. He arrived at the club from Borussia Mönchengladbach with high expectations. However, his aggressive style of play sometimes led to disciplinary problems on the field. During that season, Xhaka received several red cards. His rash challenges and mistimed tackles not only resulted in suspensions, but also disrupted his consistency in the team. Despite these early struggles, by the end of his Arsenal career, Xhaka improved and became a more composed and reliable presence in Arsenal's midfield.